Welcome to Film, where I break down films in the way anyone can enjoy. Whether you're new to movies or a seasoned fan, you're in the right place. Now, in this video, we will be talking about my likes and dislikes for the movie Gladiator 2. Says, this week, it was Glicked weekend. If you don't know what that means, it means Gladiator 2 and Wicked both came out this week. Now, when you guys hear this or see this video, it's going to be, I want to say, a week after this whole thing happened, but obviously, I'll be doing first my Gladiator 2 likes and dislikes, and then the next video will be on Wicked and my likes and dislikes of that movie. I'd like to give a quick heads up. This review has spoilers for Gladiator 2. If you haven't watched it yet, hit pause, check the movie out, and come back when you're ready. For everyone sticking around, let's jump in. Once again, this is your last spoiler warning. Now, usually I like to start with my dislikes instead of my likes for movies that I did like, but to be honest, I'm going to go likes because I think it makes sense this time and then just say my dislikes after. But my first like I want to talk about is the intro to the movie. Now, the way they gave us the title card, Gladiator 2, I thought was so cool and artistic. Like, I thought the artwork that went into that scene and the way it was showing us, it was pretty much just the death of Maximus and how he died in a cartoony, artistic way. Not like Joker 2, but more of a, I don't even know. More of maybe like the way Across the Spider-Verse when Gwen or Spider-Gwen goes back to her universe and there was all that different type of artwork when her and their dad were talking and it was like a forgiveness type scene. But it was almost like that in a way. I know that's not the best accurate way to point it out, but that's the best way I can describe it off the top of my head. But I just love that opening. Like it got me pumped. It felt intense. It felt like, oh, here we go. We're diving back into the world and this is where the story left off. So now here we go. That's just how I took it, but it was awesome. Like I loved it. And I need more of that creative type of title card opening stuff for different things. And I mean, well, no, Wicked didn't do that same type of thing, but Wicked still had a cool title card opening. But anyways, yeah, I love that opening sequence. Now, after the opening of the movie with the title card and everything, the way I loved it, yada, 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 the opening battle scene was really cool to me when it was Lucius versus, man, I want to call him the General because I forgot who Pedro Pascal's character's name was, but I'm going to call him the General. Lucius versus the General, because at this point, we open up with Lucius in another country that's not Rome. He's got a wife. They're in love, and all of a sudden they're going to battle just like that. And I thought that was sick. I was like, ooh, I'm already invested in this. So we get this battle, and it's Rome invading the country that Lucius is in, and Lucius is fighting for that country. And it's just awesome. Like there was a lot of violence, a lot of blood, well, not really gore, but it was just crazy. And the way Pedro Pascal was moving, like I'm gonna be for real, Brody was definitely a menace with the sword. He was definitely a menace with the bow or a spear, I want to call it. But you could tell he was a force of nature. Like that shot of him on the boat when he was just chilling, you could tell he didn't want to be there, but he was over here drinking out of a mug or something like it was a random Sunday morning or a Saturday morning. It felt like a weekend when you're watching them just stroll in with all his Roman soldiers. And he's just like, all right, let's get to it. But it was just awesome. I was like, dang. And the shot of the boats and everything on the water, I was like, this is insane. This is how you're opening up the movie, really, Scott? Really? This is how you doing it? It's tough. I love it. But I was just a super huge fan of that. Like I'm a sucker for scenes when it comes to water and everything. But it was awesome to see them go at it, especially in this country. I think it was called Numidia or something. Yeah, Numidia. That's what I put down here. But it was just a really cool opening to the movie. I thought it was interesting though, because in the first Gladiator movie, we all see that Maximus won his battle with Rome. So it made sense for Pedro Pascal, or the General's character, to win the battle against Numidia, I believe it was called. But I just thought that was pretty interesting to show that Rome is a great nation no matter what, and that they're still the most powerful nation in the world. One of my next likes that I wanted to talk about was the twin emperors of Rome. Yeah, twin emperors. At first, when I heard this idea, I was kind of like, I don't know how I feel about this, but they honestly represented the I want to say the personality of Rome perfectly. Like, because at this time, I think they gave us some title cards. Oh, yeah, here, I found them. Okay, first one said 16 years after the death of Marcus Aurelius, his dream of Rome has been forgotten. Under the tyranny of twin emperors, Geta and Caracalla, corruption flourishes. And the second one says, their ruthless aggression spreads like a plague throughout the empire. The fall of the great city is imminent. Only the hopes of those who still dare to dream remain. Now, even reading that, that was honestly a cool little pump up a little bit for me, or even excitement to get excited for the movie. Because these two, they were honestly menaces to society. Like, they were crazy. Like, there were some scenes where I was like, okay, like, they can be calm at sometimes, but you could tell like these dudes are crazy. I don't know what it was. I don't know why they were so like in their bag about trying to like just cause chaos, because they didn't really seem like leaders. They were just like, I want to cause as much mischief as possible. They were literally like, if you told me they were related to Joaquin Phoenix's character, I'd believe it, because that's what they seemed like. They seemed like they were two copies of his different sides. There was one who was somewhat rational and normal, and there was the other one who just wanted violence 24/7. I was like, holy crap, this is insane. But I loved it. I love the idea of the Twin Emperors thing. I love that. I think his name's David Quinn. I love that he played one of them. I didn't know the other actor's name, but it was just awesome, man. These two were awesome. I don't really think I have a complaint about them. I think they did a good job on playing two crazy emperors of Rome. That's all I got, but it was just awesome to see that. Now, another like that I had for this movie was Denzel Washington's character, without a doubt. I thought that he was awesome. I thought that Denzel Washington did a really good job on playing that role. And at the start, it seemed like he was going to be exactly like the Gladiator trainer that was in the first one. But I love that Ridley Scott changed it up a little bit and he made Denzel play the bad guy. Because I'm not going to lie, when Denzel plays the bad guy, it is awesome. It is, I think it makes the movie. Like, for example, Training Day. I thought that was awesome because everybody's expecting him to be a good cop, or they're expecting him to be like the general hero of the story. Almost like even in Fences, I don't want to say he was a bad guy, he just wasn't a good person. But those type of roles, like, we expect him to be the hero. We expect him to be like the helper, like the savior of certain things. And for him to go out and just be the selfish dude in this, I loved it. I thought that he was really crafty, and he was also really sneaky as well. I loved the way everybody reacted to his character in the theater when he was doing some things. Like, he was surprisingly funny in the movie. Like, I didn't expect that. Like, he was doing a whole bunch of funny things. There were a lot of scenes that seemed like he was trying to show people common sense, or he was just acting out of common sense. And I love that. But the way he was worming his way into Rome, it was awesome to watch. Now, seeing Paul Mescal as Lucius in this movie was honestly pretty cool. At first, I was a little confused. Because I was wondering what they were going to do when they first announced this movie. And I was thinking maybe bring in a new Gladiator, maybe bring in somebody different who can start a whole new storyline in this Rome universe. But I liked his version of Lucius a little bit. He was just a menace. Like, he was tough. You could tell that a lot of the influences of Maximus was definitely put upon him. And I just really thought he did a really good job through the movie. Like, at the start, I was kind of like, I don't know about this. Like, he's kind of just here. He hasn't really said a lot of words. I mean, it seemed like he was an exact replica for a second of Maximus, but when you go through the movie a little bit more, I started to like him a little bit, or I started to like him more, and I was like, okay, this is a really cool character. This is cool to see Lucius be this way. Now I'm just curious to see what they do in Gladiator 3, if there is going to be a Gladiator 3. But I liked Paul Mescal as Lucius. That scene where he's fighting those, I think it was like monkeys or something like that, orangutans. I don't know what it was, but that scene where he's just being vicious and he killed one of them, I was like, dang, bro, we know this guy's going to go in when he gets to the Coliseum. But it was just awesome to see that, bro. Like that's Gladiator right there. The next like that I want to talk about is definitely the Coliseum fights. I thought everything in the Coliseum was so cool. I thought even the shots of Rome when they get back from Numidia, I thought it was so cool. Like Rome looked beautiful. There was an awesome shot of Pedro Pascal walking up the steps to greet the twin emperors, and I thought that was a really cool shot. Even in the background, I understand it probably was green screen, but the effects or the green screen or whatever they put into it to get those type of shots, it was just amazing, bro. Like looking at this movie and just cinematography and everything, it looked incredible, especially the Coliseum scenes. I can't wait to even talk about that part. The Coliseum, that like if you were to compare this movie to the first Gladiator movie and then look at all the things they did in the Coliseum, like it made the Coliseum in the first one look like just a regular thing, look like a little stage. But this Coliseum in Gladiator 2, what it could do, what type of fights were going on in it, it was awesome, man. Like that scene with them on the in the water, I didn't even know that apparently the Coliseum could do that. But the funny thing to me was how everybody reacted when I kind of said a little outburst type thing when I saw sharks, because I love sea creatures, but when I saw the sharks in the water, I was like, "What? Are those sharks?" And I was like, "How the heck did they get the sharks in the water? What is this?" Like after the movie, we're trying to figure out how the heck they could even import them into the Coliseum. I was just in awe because then somebody was like, "Yeah, that's what they would actually do stuff like that." In the fight scene that took place in that water with the sharks, I was like, "Holy crap! This is how you make This is how you make a Gladiator movie. This is how you make some fight scenes in a Gladiator movie." Like homeboys pushing people into the water, and you see all that blood. It's like Jaws 7 right now. I love that scene. I still couldn't believe that was a thing in the movie. Like I'm just so impressed. Like, and the fact that Romans actually did that in the past, well, I don't know, like history barring, historians are probably going to come in here going like, no, they never did that. But either way, that was a really cool thing to see, and the fact that that was a battle scene in the Colosseum, A plus, A plus. I just loved it. Another thing I really loved about this movie was how much like respect and honor every character was giving the Maximus. Like through the movie, there were a lot of callbacks or throwbacks to the first movie. Like there were a lot of flashbacks to, like if somebody mentioned Maximus, they'd show a scene of him doing something nice or even like fighting in the Colosseum. But then there was like through the movie, you're seeing all these awesome, great scenes. But the thing that really got me was when the doctor in the Colosseum brought Lucius down to what I want to call was his grave or an honoring grave or something. And it just showed Maximus's swords, his armor, his shield, and the name Maximus on a tomb. And then there was something else above it. It said like, "What we do in life echoes in eternity." And that was just awesome. And there were even times when there were times when Lucius would say strength and honor. I remember there was an exchange between him and his mother when his mother gave him Maximus's ring and just said strength and honor. And right when he said that, I remember everybody in the theater was like, "Woo," like it was about to get real. But when I heard that, I was like, that is so awesome. And the way they were honoring Maximus too was really cool. Like there was a scene where even after he was looking at Maximus's armor and feeling it, he put the armor on and you see him, I want to say, talk to everybody, give an awesome speech, and then everybody's like putting their swords up saying strength and honor, strength and honor. And he goes inside his cell, and it was really cool scene of him. I want to describe the lighting. It was just cool. He had Maximus's sword. He had the wooden sword too, and he said an awesome quote with it. There was a lot going on during this scene. Like everybody was hype and getting loud in the theater because of how he was talking. But like basically, the doctor in the Coliseum gave him the keys to his cell. And when the guy who was coming to take him out of there was making fun of him, going like, "Oh, this is the last chance you get. Is there anything you want to say?" Lucius gets out of there, kicks the door, opens it up because homeboy handed him the wooden sword that the first gladiator teacher had in the first movie. And then Lucius uses it and he's like, a point is a point. Or I forgot what the quote was. One sec. Let me find it. It was something super funny but clever. But I was like, Loki, he's got a point. Because there's been times when I was talking to friends and I'm like, no matter what, like if you think about it, anything's a weapon. And that's what I was thinking when it came to this scene, because I was just, yeah, like right here. Literally, wood or steel, a point is still a point. When he said that, I low-key got goosebumps because I'm like, Loki, yeah, I don't know why you gave him a wooden sword. Like, he can't do anything with a wooden sword. Like, no matter what, if he uses the right amount of force, he's still going to be able to kill you with it. And he eventually did kill him with it, but it was just awesome, bro. Like, it was like a jailbreak scene, but it was awesome to see that with Lucius. Like, I just can't get over how much, like, how good this movie looked and how good the story was to me. And I don't know, it was just really fun to watch this. But now, without further ado, let's get into my dislikes list. Now, this is honestly going to be short because I really did enjoy this movie. Like, I enjoyed the action scenes, I enjoyed the shots, I enjoyed the story for the most part. But honestly, the one dislike I want to talk about, and this is going to be a spoiler again. I know that there's probably people who've already heard it and been like, well, you already spoiled the stinking movie. But this is another thing. I think, and this is my one dislike, I think that Denzel's character shouldn't have died. Yeah, I said it. I don't think he shouldn't have died. I'm just going to be for real. The way they were building his character up, like he was moving in silence, he was working his way up the pole of leaders to get control of Rome. And he was just saying so many cold lines. To me, they were cold lines. Like Denzel, when he had that talk with Lucius's mother, when he was telling her that you're going to die and like, or we're going to order you to die. Because at this point, the emperors gave him, one of the emperors, because he killed the other one. Yeah, he killed the other emperor. The emperor that was still alive gave him power of Rome pretty much. And he was like an advisor to him. But when he's talking with Lucius's mother, he reveals that he used to be a slave to Marcus Aurelius. And he said some cold lines. I forgot word for word what it was, but it was something like, oh, I was a slave to an emperor. Now I'm taking my own, or I'm commanding my own empire. And I was like, oh crap, that's nuts. And then he was being a realist about a lot of stuff. Like one quote I really liked, because he was trying to show, I think, Lucius, that the idea of bringing back or trying to bring the dream of Marcus Aurelius's Rome is dead, and Rome is Rome. And I was like, oh, when he said that, I was like, low key, what if he's trying to take over Rome and make it his own thing? And Denzel used the phrase "my Rome" in when he was talking to Lucius's mother, and I was like, oh shoot, I was getting hype because I was like, this is such a different avenue that we're going on with Gladiator. Because in the first one, it was all about revenge. It was all about, even though this one is about revenge, the other one I think was a different type of revenge, because it was about Maximus getting revenge on Commodus for killing his family. And yeah, it wasn't like he was trying to rule Rome. He just wanted revenge. And so seeing that this guy wanted revenge only because he was owned by an emperor and he just wanted to control Rome after everything he's been through, I just thought that was nuts. And I thought it would be awesome, like, because I'm hearing stuff about they may do a third movie. I don't think they should now because they killed homeboy off. I thought it would have been awesome if Denzel took control. And even though he did, it was only for 5 seconds. If he took control and for some reason, Lucius and the Gladiators, they got out of the Colosseum, but Denzel had control of all the armies in Rome, that they pushed Lucius and his gladiators out of Rome. And then the next movie could have been they have to try to fight their way into Rome in order to get Rome back and to stop it from becoming something evil with Denzel's character. And it would have been cool too, because they were talking about earlier the fall of Rome stuff. Like this could be the start of the fall of Rome. And I'm like, imagine if it were to fall with Denzel in charge. And one of the other things I liked was what Denzel said when because there was a fight that happened. That's how he died. He fought a gladiator, and I was like, bro, you really thought you could take out Lucius? Like, really? He's a gladiator. But he said, in order to rule Rome, you have to take it by force. And I thought that was cool because Lucius did take it by force from him because he killed him. But I thought that would have been awesome to leave that as the last cold line. And as when they're trying to fight, Denzel, it would have been cool for that whole Roman army to have Denzel's back because he took it by force, and they would have respected it, and they would have been like, okay, see you next time. The next time I pass you, it's on sight or something like that. But for them to stand by and just have him duke it out, I was kind of like, I don't know if I like the way this is going. And when he died, I was like, man, so what's going on and what's going to happen in the third one? I just wasn't a huge fan of that. I mean, I know there's probably other people who were like, nah, this was awesome. This was amazing. But to me, I would have loved it if they kept Denzel alive in order to become that big villain, the real big villain in the third one. Because I mean, in this one, it was more like the twin emperors were the bad guys along with the general, but secretly it was Denzel. But I wish that they kept it. I wish that they kept us on a cliffhanger where it's like, oh, wait until next time to watch Gladiator 3 if they're gonna do it. But yeah, if they don't do a Gladiator 3 and this is the ending, I wouldn't be too mad. But I kind of wish now there is a third movie to see, like, and if they kept Denzel alive to see him work his magic and all his Loki type stuff in the third movie. But I don't know. Granted though, I did love this movie. I mean, I liked it. If I had to give it a rating, I would give it an 8 out of 10 to me personally. I loved the fights. I loved the look of Rome. I liked a lot of the characters in the movie, and I loved how the story was going. But that last part where they killed off Denzel and it was kind of just like Lucius completed everything and that's that. I was a little iffy with that. So yes, I will give it an 8 out of 10, but yeah, that's my review on it. But anyways, guys, if you guys want more reviews, just talk to me in the comments. Let me know, did you like this movie? Did you love this movie? Did you think it was okay? Let me know down below. I'm your man Film, and I'm gonna catch y'all later. Peace.